Hey, Central Mafia family, Sean Lardo here for another episode in preparation for our first live in-person event that's completely partner-led, happening in just 2 weeks. And I'm with my co-facilitator and co-host, Juan Mack. How are you today, sir?
I am doing good. How are you doing, Sean?
Doing great, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, this is pumped up. Yeah, you didn't seem so pumped up by the music, but go ahead.
We are, I was getting pumped up here. And then I saw Richard dancing on that video. That's pretty cool because that's how we do it.
That's how we do it. So yes, so let's get through this because we have a great episode. We have really good guests to interview today, so we got to get around them as quick as possible. So let's start off with some quick updates and just a level set. So for those of you that don't know what Central Mafia is, what is it, Juan?
Central Mafia is an MSP partner-led specifically for MSP. So let's everybody come together, share knowledge, learn from each other, and then collaborate and network. And Absolutely. we have our upcoming, like Sean said, meetup on April 24th at Burr Ridge with the pre-day on the 23rd.
I was about to say it starts April 23rd. That's when the pre-day happens, happy hour. Where we'll be having our annual cornhole tournament, sponsored by Mafia, and they keep winning every year. So I'm dethroning them this year. But you can see across the bottom on the banner there, you can see it scrolling across. If you want to register, it is free for MSPs to attend. So I suggest any users, any owners, it doesn't matter. If you're owner-led and you're working within a certain requirement of the business, whether it's service leadership, sales, or whatever, it doesn't matter. You should attend this. We will be at the Burr Ridge Marriott, Chicago Marriott, southwest of Burr Ridge, starting on the 23rd. Do we still have a room block available?
It is still possible. So if anybody books a room, just let me know and I can hook you up with a room block because they still have available. And timing wise, for those of you who are driving, because we have all 7 states for the North Central region. On the 23rd, we start at 5:30. So if you can get there, that pre-day starts in the afternoon for our happy hour and cornhole, and then the next day, breakfast, 8 o'clock registration, and then at 9 o'clock we start our day. But we're going to talk more about our day with our guests today.
Absolutely. Also, one last housekeeping note here: we also are within 2 months of IT Nation Secure. We do have a promo code to put up on the screen for you all as being a member of the community. It's $100 off, and I'm hoping it'll come on the bottom screen here, banner soon. There it is. You can use code IT Nation Community 100 if you want to register for Secure to get $100 off of your registration price. Registration's available, is open already. It's going to be a great show. Matt Topper's leading this one this time. The content, I've been part of the content meetings, and it's looking really solid. But so is the content.
Should I say the other thing about IT Nation Secure, or should we wait for our first guest to talk about
Let's wait for our first guest. I think that's important. Yes. Right. So, and that's what I was about to say. Even though content will be great at IT Nation Secure, content will also be great at the Central Mafia User Group Meetup in 2 weeks. And so I want to bring on our first guest and our platinum sponsor for the event from ConnectWise. And they will be talking about, giving the morning update on ConnectWise and also harnessing the power of AI and hyperautomation. The Chief Marketing Officer and a good friend of mine, Angus Robertson. Can you bring him up, please?
Hi, Juan. Hi, Sean. Great to be here.
Hey, how you doing, Angus?
I'm doing well. How are you both?
Doing well. Thanks for making it, honestly.
Sure, happy to be here. Yeah.
For those that don't know, Angus and I are friends, but we barely get a chance to talk. So this is going to be the longest conversation we've had in like a month.
He's not lying. Yep.
I know. Yeah, it's if you looked at our schedules, you'd understand. So, Angus, first, thank you for agreeing to sponsor. You got, ConnectWise, we've owned the user groups for years now. And I'm happy that you were, when we came and talked to you about it, the partner-led vision was something you loved. You agreed with it because you are partner first and you always have been. So I appreciate that. But, now that you have this, I really want people to get an idea of what you guys are coming to the table with. I'm trying to say you guys and not me because I have no responsibility for it. So you mind giving us some tidbits on what we should expect?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Sean. And thanks, Juan, for helping get all this organized. We're really excited to be there and to support this showing at Chicago coming up. So as the title sponsor, we have a couple of sessions. We have a morning session, also a breakout session in the afternoon. So in the morning, we'll give a update on what's new and interesting about ConnectWise. We'll cover some of the new product updates that we have, some of the new things that we have included. For example, our Security 360 and Backup 360 are now included with RMM and data protection. We're not charging for them anymore. Also, we'll talk about some of the changes we have on the executive team. We have a new CCO, Mary Frances, who comes by way of WEX and also SAP Concur, so we can engage more with our partners and focus on partner satisfaction. Besides that, we have a new threat report. We'll highlight some of the key findings from that threat report. And as Sean mentioned, we'll give you some highlights and teasers for what's coming up for IT Nation Secure and Automation Nation, or our hyper automation focus, which happens as part of IT Nation Secure in Orlando, June 2nd and 3rd. Then in the afternoon, we'll be focused very much on our favorite topic. Actually, Central Mafia gave us feedback saying they'd like to hear more about this, which is hyper automation. We're living in this world of AI and RPA. So how do we tackle this? What are the use cases? How do we figure out what tools to use, how to bring them together to increase our productivity, open up new lines of revenue? So we have two of our experts coming, Oz, who leads product management for hyperautomation, and also Martin Krieger, who many of you probably know from Discord or MSP Geek, who leads our product marketing for hyperautomation. They'll cover what we can do on the generative AI side, what we can do on the RPA side with triggers, conditions, also actions, and cover specific use cases, kind of the before after, what it looks like for client onboarding or cyber remediation across multiple products, and how that can be tied together with generative AI for context, but also RPA for automating those steps. So excited to dive into these topics. They're changing fast and can make a big impact for all of us.
Absolutely.
That's
So
awesome.
question, I have one question though, and this is always the question, AI,
Yeah.
right? How does it make sense in this world? And what do you use it for? Because you can find a million arguments about is AI used for or not, and is it bad or is it good, and what's the actual use case? So in this case, how do we apply this?
It's all bad, Sean.
Okay, good. That's what I like. I like that. It's a great answer. Good answer.
All bad.
Yeah, it depends on your perspective, right? So we're starting step by step, and there's so many possibilities that generative AI and RPA can unlock. But I'll just give you a couple of examples that we've seen really take off with ConnectWise and our partners. One is within our new RMM, we have a capability right in the product for using generative AI to create PowerShell scripts. And it's pretty scary how good these PowerShell scripts are. So as part of your endpoint management, if you need to do a little bit of tweaking or configuring outside the standard features, just within the product, you say, please help me do this. The PowerShell script is created, and then you can just run that script. And it has great documentation, by the way, which usually is very hard to get from an engineer to include their documentation in their code. The other area I think generative AI is really helpful in the context of MSPs is when it comes to automation. So using generative AI, for example, with tickets, looking at what's the sentiment of the ticket, what's the topic of the ticket. If this is something really urgent and who's the right person to deal with it, that context can be processed by generative AI and then passed along to the appropriate RPA trigger and action. So that combination, I think, is really powerful. But those are a couple of the AI use cases we see a lot of adoption for.
One.
Yeah. I was going to say that is fantastic. I mean, there's two things. I think that a lot of things that people are looking at at these events, at this community is, what's the update, what's on the roadmap, and that's what a lot of our partners are asking, right? So I think that your morning session is going to be key to get us ready for the day. And yeah, when it comes to automation and AI, we can find AI everywhere. It's nice to see how it's built into the tools that we use, right? And then we can trust that and then leverage those inside our organization. So I think that is going to really help all our partners and all MSPs, find those efficiencies. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to those sessions.
Thanks, Juan. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's so interesting how fast this is moving. I mean, we've got ChatGPT, of course, Copilot. Grok is now apparently the cool kid on the block, whether you want to use it or not. But I was just, I can't help myself. I'm like in ChatGPT all the time. I pay for it. And it just gets smarter and smarter. But I was prepping for this session, and it was like, would you like me to create an image of the Chicago skyline talking about how important partners are to the community? I was like, sure, why not? And it created this awesome image, and it figured out the words, the whole fingers and that, and the text has always been a problem, but ChatGPT solved that in the latest release that just came out a couple of weeks ago. And it's pretty impressive what it can do.
It's too impressive. It's too impressive. I look at that, I'm like, I don't sound this smart. My goodness, I got to change. I'm like, can you make it sound dumber?
Yeah. Can you tone this down a little bit?
Yeah, like,
ChatGPT, I don't talk like that.
I'm like, my God, it's like a thesis that I didn't write ever. Please dumb it down, please. That's funny. Okay, so and one last question here in regards to, we have IT Nation Secure right around the corner.
Sure.
And there's changes that have taken place, like updates, and so I'm just curious, what are you excited about for Secure?
Yeah, so the IT Nation business unit, which Sean, you're part of some of the time, Matt Topper there, he's our owner for the show, and he has the background in the world of MSP, has a background as a CISO, and he feels very passionately about making this the best security show for MSPs, and that it's a community-led show. So just some of the highlights in terms of the changes that we're making for IT Nation Secure include a shift to subject matter expert driven content, more technical breakout sessions, very community driven in terms of the different community led breakout spaces. Also some kind of entertaining interactive event experiences like gamified hacking challenges. So we're really focused on investing in creating the best security event for MSPs. And that means bringing in experts from not just the world of MSP, but the world of enterprise and outside of the world of MSP to talk about some of these latest threats and latest techniques and best practices, but also making sure MSPs can connect with each other and learn from one another on their best practices to define their cybersecurity practice, how to grow their cybersecurity practice, how to secure the clients, how to secure their MSP, some of the regulatory environment challenges that are continually evolving. So I think it's exciting the direction that Matt and the IT Nation team are taking us in terms of the content for IT Nation. It's very much focused on security expertise in a community-led event.
Awesome. Well, Angus, thank you very much. I like that. I'm excited. And I am part of the business unit a lot of times now. So it used to be sometimes, now it's a lot of times.
Okay.
And before you head out, if you register, you have a chance to win one of 2 all access pass to IT Nation Secure.
Yes.
So make sure that you click on that link that you register, and then you have a chance to enjoy all the cool things that Angus, Sean, and Matt, and all that team is putting together. Because I'm really looking forward to it.
And those passes are being paid for by Angus. So thank you, Angus.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you, Angus.
Anything for the community.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Angus. We will be seeing you later. Thanks for the 10-minute conversation, the most we've had in a month. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Juan. Great to see you both.
Angus.
Yep. See you soon, man. All right. Up next, another one of our sponsors. This is Helped, and they're going to be talking about the Hidden Profit Center, unlocking growth through your help desk, which is huge. I mean, if you look over the last few years, the amount of help desk support initiatives that started taking place in companies that started to sprout out because it was just becoming more and more difficult. I mean, there was never a time like that before, but then MSPs wanting to grow faster and be able to scale had to start looking at outsourcing because they couldn't find the right talent. So that is something that's it's obviously a big part of everybody's workload.
And I think it goes hand in hand with, as you grow your business with, either you automate or how you manage your resources, and those go hand in hand. So this great combination also for this event.
Absolutely. So without further ado, let's bring David Stone on for this. He is the founder of Helped.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey,
What's
David.
up, man?
The usual. I did some Googling, and Burr Ridge is known for Bo Jackson. Did you know that? He's from Burr Ridge.
Bo Jackson?
Mind-blowing.
No.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baseball, football. I mean, I guess Burr Ridge is good for that.
We're going to have to do like some sightseeing now that we go there, but maybe the next time we're there, we'll get a bus and see where he lived and do all that.
I think that'd be great.
That'll be a good networking event. All of us in a bus and just go sightseeing in Burr Ridge.
Future sponsored project. Help want to sponsor that. I can't wait. Sounds good. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
We'll do jerseys, baseball, football, whatever. Throw some jerseys.
Actually, that'd be pretty freaking dope. I'm not a Cubs fan, but I would definitely wear the Cubs uniform, like if it was like Central Mafia, and we could just alter that. It'd be pretty cool.
We can definitely.
All right. Well, we got to work on that. So take mental notes of that.
Take note.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what you got going on here, man. So first, thank you for being a sponsor and supporting the community. Really appreciate that. We're really looking forward to having you guys there. Like I said before you came on, how important help desk is in general and how it's become a huge factor, especially because of staffing issues over the last few years. I know a lot of businesses that have had to either merge, sell, or look to outsource in order to just even maintain business. So, even with all that said, though, it's hard to leverage it too. People don't realize how to really leverage. So, if we can get some sort of idea of like what to expect from your guys' session.
Yeah, absolutely. So the goal for us is to take a look at this outsourcing of help desk in the vein of customer experience. We all hear the stories, we read the headlines, one bad experience does this certain thing, or this person quit this thing altogether because of something bad that happened. And I think that what we want to really zero in on is, really driving growth through that customer experience. And Sean, Juan, what you guys said was that it's hard, staffing challenges, things that, are recently becoming more and more of an issue. You really don't have anywhere to turn. And so I think with Helped, we can say, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to be your help desk, but we're also going to really help you deliver that excellent customer experience. And I think that that's a little bit of a driving factor. Unlocking growth, I think Matt's going to talk a lot about how we can really play with the numbers, how we can understand exactly, what it looks like with an engagement with us, what it should look like for an engagement with other providers, and how to really see the fruits of your labor. If you were to be able to, hire somebody on and pay them $1 and you got paid $2 for their effort, seems like it's pretty easy math. This is a little bit more complex, and I think we're going to go into that and, show the calculus.
Absolutely. I think so. When I saw the topic of your title, the title itself, I thought, yeah, of course, unlocking growth. The profit center unlocking growth, but I think it comes in two forms. One major one is just efficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
How many, and I'm not an MSP. One is how many times do you see very overloaded staff when it comes to help desk for really no reason other than the fact that one person just knows how to do everything and the rest don't really know it yet, kind of,
That's right.
And there's a fair that you need to, especially if you're competing against other people, 24/7 support, stuff like that, right? So now you add on another element of requirement for bodies.
Yeah,
so that's a big deal, I feel like.
And then you as the potential business owner, what do you want to focus on? You want to focus on the tier 1 stuff? Do you want to focus on being available all the time? Or do you want to focus on growing project work, sales and marketing efforts, things like that? And so we kind of alleviate some of that pain.
Yeah, and I think the old person is as you trying to grow your staff, and it's like I want somebody who brings in that experience. With trying to bring somebody brand new to learn your business and then learn the tools, it takes a little bit of time. And I think you mentioned something also that is very key is how do you create? And I always tell with everybody when they're talking to all the different vendors is how you create a partnership. And I think you mentioned something else, like you actually talk to to the MSP and create an actual partnership and how they can, get that growth with you guys, not just outsourcing. Somebody's going to provide help desk for them.
It's huge for us. We want to become a collaborative partner with you. We want to be able to say to our MSP client, hey, expect us to be like a new hire agent. Teach us all of the things that you would need to teach somebody that just sat down in that desk and started cranking away at your tickets. We take all that information, and because we have a known and proven methodology to capture that information in a really efficient way, we're taking it and we're making it available to many people. And so instead of it just being like this one agent that you're hiring, that you're teaching, that you're training, you're doing all this stuff, you end up getting a group of people. And so you can expand and contract. And, on the sales side of things, you can say you're bigger. Hey, I have a team of 6, 10, 15 people, however many people you want to say, because you've immediately bolted on those agents, those fractional agents with help. So.
I love that. So question though, one of the questions that always pops up as a concern in working with companies like you all in general is, are you in their environment or are they in your environment? That's always a question. So
it's a huge question. We're in their environment. What we've done is we've presented our agents with a platform that allows them to jump between the tools. They get training on those tools. We have a tier list, like you do Pokemon or like Smash Brothers characters or whatever. And we have all of the tools in those tier lists. And so a tool that's in our A+ tier list, our team is well versed in it. They're going to know how to jump in and take care of things. What they won't know right away is the nuance. Hey, do you track ticket time this way? Do you track it this way? Do you do a unique status for some reason? And that's all the stuff that we're going to learn that you'd have to train anybody anyhow. So yeah, we work right in our clients' tools. We also try to communicate as much as possible, just like if we were in a cube next door, pop our head up. So if you're on Teams, we'll jump in on Teams. If you're on Slack, we'll jump in on Slack. Hey, Sean, I've got this issue. What do you think about this thing? Instead of it just being like, oh, here's a ticket that I don't know how to deal with, I'm going to go ahead and throw that back over the wall. We're going to be a little bit more collaborative.
Perfect. I think that's a big deal. I even think I know it's a big deal because the owners want you to represent their voice. Mm-hmm. They want to make sure everybody's together in the same understanding of, SLA is an obvious thing to look at, right? So, okay. So another question then, unrelated to this, you'll be at IT Nation Secure. How do you feel about that? What are you looking forward to in it? Because you guys have a big, I'm sorry, but I think help desk is a huge part of security. Yeah. I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. It's the biggest part because incident response happens at help desk. So, that's just one simple example. That's my thought.
We talk about being the canary in the coal mine, just like what you're saying. Like we're the ones that are at the front line. We're seeing the things. When we start to see trends with whatever matter, we're figuring out what that trend is, and then we're going from there. I think for me, frankly, in this security space, there's so much to be done. And I think for us, it's like, you could prioritize doing those things for your clients or for yourself, or you could be struggling with dealing with these other things. And so I think that there's this crossroads where it's like, hey, you want us to do help desk stuff, or you want us to do help desk stuff so that you can focus on the security stuff, or you want us to do help desk stuff that's going to relate to security stuff. You just turned on MFA for a law firm. They have no idea what's going on. They're going to end up calling in and saying, hey, what's the deal? And we can take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I agree. I think when it comes to the security pieces, you guys do partner with some of the other security providers, so your team is actually trained on those tools. So regardless of all the different tools that different MSPs use, you actually know the tools that we use to help leverage that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would be curious, and I don't know if you thought about this, but wouldn't you guys be an ideal company to write reports on what's being found, since you guys are the first response? If you're working with MSPs across the country, wouldn't you guys have like the newest threat intelligence?
It's happening.
I'm just throwing it out there.
No, I love it. So so the thing that I can point to is, you remember CrowdStrike Day? Was it June 19th? Our first call.
Oh yeah, everybody remembers that.
Yeah, everybody remembers that. Our first call came in and we said, crap, something's going on here. And then our switchboards lit up. We started seeing tickets, and it was in the middle of the night for some of our clients that are here on the West Coast, even for some of our folks that are on the East Coast. And so we were able to send an email out to say, hey, everybody, something's happening, and really be that first alert, that front line. So, yeah, absolutely. When we see whatever trend it is, we're going to try to communicate that out to everybody.
Honestly, I think you could probably do threat intelligence reporting because you're welcome, David. I'll be here all day.
Thank you.
I want royalties. Okay, I want royalties. All right.
My mind is blown. We'll just call it the Sean Lardo package, and it'll be.
I'm in, dude. The threat report by Sean
package. Sorry, never mind. We'll call it something else.
Well, it's about finding that hidden profit. So yeah, you're right.
Right, exactly. The profit center in your package. Okay. Anyhow, Burt Ridge, huh?
No. David, thank you for that, man. Looking forward to having you. Well, not you. Unfortunately, you won't be there, but your counterpart will be. Hopefully, we can get you both there sometime. And we have the event in September, so I hope to see you for that one.
Sounds good,
especially with the new cut.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to seeing you guys over there in September or at Secure.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on today, and really appreciate the opportunity to become part of this thing.
All right. David, thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. But hey, have a good rest of your day, man.
You too.
All right. Up next.
Security.
I like the man that needs no introduction. Yeah, security.
Yeah, we have a security track. We have a security track as well.
Or are we calling security for this person? Anyway, last year's the 2024 Pitch It winner, the chief customer officer and co-founder of Sention, where his session that they're going to talk about is why hardening configurations manually is a losing game, which I kind of agree. So let's bring on a good friend of mine, Zach Konkowski, to the show.
It worked perfect. You went like this and he just appeared.
We called it manually being a losing game because over at Sention, we hate losing. That's why we automated this. We only like to win over here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
It's really nice. It's a theme, by the way. Everybody we talked to today used automation in their conversation.
Ooh,
everyone.
Am I falling right in line? I like that.
Yeah,
you are. You absolutely just did. Congrats.
It goes hand in hand. Automation, efficiencies, and security. I mean, you have to do that.
Agreed. So
welcome.
First, thank you for being a sponsor and supporting this event. We really appreciate it.
I'm so happy to do it, man. And I'm honored that you called me a friend of yours. That's probably the biggest accolade of that introduction for me, brother.
I'm always speaking the truth. I'm spitting out the truth here, Zach. That's all I can do, man.
It is what it is. So, and I think you plugged ConnectWise, IT Nation, Pitch It, right? We can't forget the
yes, I did.
Infamous background that I permanently keep for all my meetings at this point.
I love it. You need to redo the dark. You need to redo the marker for where the 7 is for the $70,000, so it doesn't like $10,000.
Yeah, I was questioning that. Is that a 10?
Yeah, I have to put this away every day, and I don't know if the camera really shows it, but I do live in my RV. So if I want to have any walking space, I have to fold that sucker in half and hide it in a corner until the next virtual webinar meeting.
I love that. I so appreciate the determination by you to celebrate. It is literally like the Stanley Cup at this point.
I wanted to bring it
you should have other people take
it. I did talk to Jessica about that. I requested it. It still has not been delivered, but I wanted an IT Nation Letterman jacket like Kobe Bryant so I could sit in a locker room with my check and the IT Nation trophy. Nothing's come yet. So if there's a person I can, pester about it, you let me know.
Oh, we just had Angus there. Maybe he could
bring him back up. Is he still in the back room?
Bring back. He's not. He's gone.
There.
Don't worry.
So,
idea. Okay. So
last year, you congratulations again on winning the Pitch It. You were part of one of our virtual sessions with the Central Mafia, and then now we're lucky to have you as part of one of our sponsors for upcoming Meetup, and you're going to be talking about, hardening PC servers and browsers, right?
Yep.
And then how is so difficult to do this manually, control it, and how you guys are able to automate all that. So tell us more about that and then your session.
Yeah, I think the reason Sention really came about, right? We started to see a shift where MSPs really were all about just knowing what's wrong and leveraging tools to say, hey, here's something wrong. There's something wrong. There's a new 0 day. There's a new CVE. But there was no real way to say, okay, thanks for telling me it's wrong. How about I also tell you to go fix it and then just have a way for that to happen, right? Telling you to go fix it was that manual person, that labor time that had to figure out how to get it done. And after it gets done at one point in time, the next scan or the next report that told you what was wrong, that same thing that was manually fixed might populate as wrong again. And it became this just reoccurring battle over and over. I mean, imagine, I know you guys just talked about the CrowdStrike bug and the downtime involved with that. What if that bug was persistent, right? You patch it once, 10 days later, it just kept on reoccurring, right? That's what we're starting to see. And we are seeing in the registry, in the sec pool and audit pool, and these Microsoft configuration settings. They're getting set once, and then when they feel like it, they just change.
I like that. So you talked about not manually, you talked about automation. How do you affect the business at large? How do you affect an MSP first?
Yeah. So the MSP, we're enabling them to set themselves apart because now, this is a little bit of slimy, but something I've heard from the trenches. MSPs will sometimes use a vulnerability scan or a policy scan report to show what's wrong with a prospect's environment as a way to maybe poach them from a competitor, right? Well, when you have Sention, we're able to actually fix all of the things that a scanning tool would tell you is wrong. So now when that, slimy MSP or that slimy provider tries to poach some business, they'll do that scan like, wow, you guys are actually in good hands. I actually have this really interesting scenario I got put in, but a end business actually reached out to us because they wanted Sention to perform remediation because their MSP said they would reach out to them if they noticed any changes in their environment, right? So we made, it was across 100 machines, 500. Man, remember last time I did math live on webinar? Whew, that went bad. We'll go 100 times 50 with 50, 5,000 changes. Just carry a zero.
It's just a number, and then you just add the zeros. If they're all zeros, you put them all together.
Right. So Sention made...
So 100 has 2, 5 or whatever, have 50 has 1, so that's 3 zeros. See, 2,
Easy.
1, 3.
And this is the lesson plan we'll be doing in Chicago. Math class with Zach. It's going to be super exciting. But seriously, we made 5,000 reg key changes across this gentleman's environment. And the MSP meeting that they had scheduled to talk about all the changes they caught, because they have EDR, they have all these layers of security. And you know how many registry changes they caught? Goose egg, right? 5,000 changes from SMB1, NTLM, IPv6, machine activity timeout, password saving to the browser. 5,000 changes. Not a single one caught by the MSP. So we just built something that is changing the landscape of how security is done, because it's no longer, truly, and you guys can tell me what you're seeing in the market, but from the vendor perspective, only being able to tell you what's wrong is not good enough anymore. You need to actually fix something. You need to actually make an impact without having to invest the manual time. Anyone can tell me to go clean my room, right? Growing up, like, go clean your room, right? Do I really want to spend 20 minutes going to clean my room? Or if I had a button that could just clean my room, which one am I going to choose? Which one is actually going to happen, right? And then when that room gets dirty again, if it can auto clean itself again, when it drifts out of the cleansiness, right? This is where Sention is just changing the game to make sure things stay the same and stay secure.
I like that. I think it's
Clean
important. Clean rooms. Clean rooms are important. As a matter of fact, on that, there's a college area in Pittsburgh called the South Side where all the college kids live. There's all the bars, right, that are there. And there used to be a restroom that was built on a like as a porta john, but not a porta john, much more advanced than one outside. That way, every time somebody used every time it flushed, the toilet seat would spin around and it was cleaning itself. I was like, that's the coolest thing. I mean, kind of important in a college town. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Sention, the toilet seat cleaner you've dreamed of.
College
Tagline, my friend.
We're here to protect you. Everything.
That was the biggest issue, is we just kept seeing more and more tools coming out. We're going to tell you more and more. Your attack surface is this, it's that. But at the end of the day, the attack surface kept getting more exposed, but it never got smaller. So we built a solution that truly does lessen the attack surface and make an impressionable difference from the security perspective. You know, talking about the other half of it, right? From the MSP side, it's not always about security. There does need to be ROI. There needs to be revenue generating aspects of any platform they add to their stack. So the piece here is having all of their machines set up the same way, all the same settings, all the same applications with the same settings in place allows the MSP to better manage their clients and create more effective operational efficiency, right? That engineer who's been troubleshooting a configuration for the last 2 weeks or invested 10 hours, whatever that is, and Intune says it's set and GPO says it's set, and that PowerShell script, you know, I heard the gentleman at the start talk about AI generating PowerShell scripts and pushing it out. You know, the start of my presentation, as a spoiler alert, I'll ask the question, is PowerShell a security tool, right? That's a question I really like. I mean, we can ask you live on air, Sean, Juan, is PowerShell a security tool?
It's not supposed to be.
It's not a security. It's a tool.
It's a tool. It's a hell of an IT admin tool.
It's a very powerful tool.
Hold on. It's a tool that can be leveraged to help security, though.
Yes. Okay. I agree with that. And part of the exercise, I'll define what a security tool is. And, you know, a security tool has a ability to verify that it worked, ability to report on it, ability to have, you know, maybe some role-based access to it and various qualities. And, you know, people will say, yeah, PowerShell can have a, you know, feedback script. You can write an additional one, right? It just gets more and more complicated. But at the end of the day, our point of view is PowerShell is not PowerShell, GPO, Intune, all of these mediums are not actually true security mediums to handle security settings. They are MDMs. They are IT management tools to handle IT functions, but not security functions.
Yeah, you mentioned something very important in there because you said reporting, and it's not only, you know, you talk about, you know, creating GPOs and, you know, going into Intune, but so you can say, I try to apply this and now I need to prove, right? And you guys provide that report and also the compliance piece.
Yeah, I think that's a big part. You guys mind? You guys did say in the backstage, could I show my agenda for this this session just to give a better sneak peek on what I'll be talking about? Is that possible?
You got like 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds to show it.
Oh man, 30 seconds. I can do that. Present, share, boom.
While you do that, like, you know, for those of you, know, when you register and go to talk to Zach, definitely schedule that demo because it's once you see the results of what he does.
I appreciate it, Juan. And yeah, you know, the hardening configurations manually is a losing game, and you know, it couldn't be more encompassing than this. So just to really give the high level, we're going to start at square zero. Why harden? Why is this happening now? And, you know, Juan, you shouted it out right there, right? It's really surprising the things you'll see even in your own environment, right? And we'll review why it matters, why it's valuable. But there's a bigger aspect of, okay, sure, I should do this, but if I only have 10 minutes, what should I get done? So we're going to review the best practices on, should you prioritize based on risk, or do you prioritize maybe on compliance requirements, right? Because those questions will change which settings you do first. We're going to go over deployment processes built into Microsoft, a little bit on automation, the enforcement, and then we're going to kind of turn a corner. We need to communicate this stuff. I gave some examples live on air. Disable the password manager in the browser, right? If you don't communicate that change and all their passwords are in their browser, that's going to be an issue, right? So understanding how MSPs need to communicate this to their clients and communicate how they're going to be able to really help that client perform better from an efficiency perspective as well. Because not only the MSP is going to work better because all the systems are the same, but that end business is now going to work better because all their employees are using the same system, right? And that last piece, prove, yeah, that's the compliance, that's the cyber insurance, the insurance provider. You know, we're partnered with a couple people, DataStream and Beltex, and they'll ask questions, say, show me your change history for the last 2 years, last 3 years. Attest to these changes. How do you do that if you don't have automation? And then the last point, there is a big, I guess, myth. My endpoint is in the cloud. It doesn't matter. I don't need to touch that. It's Azure joined. Honestly, this myth is blown a lot out of proportion, because once that endpoint is in the cloud, the only thing that changes is really the IP address. The attack surface is potentially even bigger than it used to be, right? The fun question I like to pose, if a configuration drifts and Microsoft doesn't notice, is it still a vulnerability? You know, the whole tree in the woods analogy. You like that?
Yeah. Zach, you're over your 30 seconds, by the way.
Oh,
You
man.
totally used the 30 seconds.
All right,
then.
then.
You would.
Yeah, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's
All right.
passionate about it. So
Don't do it, Juan. Don't do it, Juan. Juan, don't do it.
Zach, thank you.
Exactly.
And
Zach,
the 23rd, Zach is our Sention is our happy hour sponsor.
No
So
soft
yes,
drinks
we'll be
allowed.
there. So
correct.
come join us on the 23rd.
Only hard liquor. So, Zach, thank you for sponsoring. Thank you for bringing your knowledge to us. We appreciate it, man. As always, looking forward to seeing you in just 2 weeks, dude.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, guys.
Yep.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
Zach.
rest of your day, dude.
Bye.
All right. So we need to wrap this up, Juan. Just for everybody watching, don't forget the first partner-only led Central Mafia user group in-person meetup will be taking place in just 2 weeks, April 23rd and 24th, over at Burr Ridge at the Marriott in Burr Ridge outside of Chicago. Registration is free for partners. You don't have to pay a thing. So owners, you can send your users, your employees to come get education. We have a stacked lineup. We have quite a few registrants already. We do have a room block available, so all you got to do is register, and you can go right in the room block as well. The link is right there for you to go ahead and register. Also, we are just 2 months out, as I mentioned, for IT Nation Secure. And we have a code for that. Right there's the link for you to register. And there is a code. You can just use code ITN Community 100. And that's because you're part of the community. You get a $100 discount on registration. Anything else that I'm missing here, Juan?
We're giving away 2 passes for the attendee user group. And next Thursday, we have our next live stream where we're going to bring our other three sponsors. We're going to talk about more of the sessions that we have for the meetup. So
Absolutely.
keep an eye out for that, and keep an eye on our LinkedIn, because we're posting all this information, keeping you up to date with our vendors, with our sessions, and everything that's happening with the Central Mafia on LinkedIn, and also our Slack channel.
Absolutely. Yes. As Juan mentioned, it is an all-access pass to IT Nation Secure. We have 2 of them to give away, but you must be at the in-person event to win them, just so we're clear. All right. That's all we have for now, man.
I think that's all the time we got. Yes. Thank you, Sean. Good seeing you again.
All right.
See you next week, and then the following week.
We'll hug it out.
Yeah.
All right. All. Yep. Central Mafia family, thank you so much. We will see you guys soon. For now, take care.
In person.